welcome back to our Scala class, and on day 32 we will look into ScalaDoc. You might have seen me making these funny little comments on writing code, but we'll talk more about this way of generating documentation. So the big idea is we write comments in a special way of formatting these comments, and we generate automatic documentation from these comments. So let me start by creating a page. Of course, so Scala class, object, day 32, ScalaDoc, right? So basically add extends app, right? And so let's create some comments. Of course, so the idea is we use this syntax, right? Something like this, yeah, and it's automatic. So when I type these three symbols, /2 stars, automatically a stub is generated. So we have stub. So let's see what we need to let's look at a good style of creating comments, and I'll use the official documentation. So ScalaDoc, right? And let's see, so this is the official documentation. You'll probably want to use this as a guideline. Again, there's no real hard, and there is some leeway, right? There's some things you don't have to write everything, right? I mean, if you skip the documentation, of course your code will still run, right? It's just your users won't be able to find any information. Also, there's a link from Alvin as well as usual, right? So, and I will do this. So I will also add Alvin's link, right? So let's go to the official documentation, right? Scala and style guide, right? So well, they also mentioned packages, but we'll talk only about mostly classes and methods. Mostly we'll follow the documentation standard. First of all, there are three ways of writing. It seems like a really tiny difference. There's a JavaDoc style. Again, if you're working on an existing project which already includes this style, you keep at it. Let's see what's the style here. It looks like again we use the method will be here, right? That's the ScalaDoc style. There's also alignment issue, right? There's two styles. Where do you align the stars, right? With the first star or second star, right? I mean, it's tiny. This looks like the first, so this looks like this style, right? Okay, let's create some method. Maybe let's make method def again. Add, right? I don't know, a int b, right? Let's see, int, right? And of course we get something back, right? Int, right? Return a plus b, right? And then we'll make a Java. I mean, again, JavaDoc again it's very similar, right? So yes, so it looks like IntelliJ, since of course IntelliJ is also major Java. You could write Java code. It looks like it wants you to do the JavaDoc style actually. Again. There's no real there's no real difference. So okay, we'll stick with this style again. So this it certainly looks like the default. Again, you could switch it around, but it looks like it's indicating here, right? So adds two numbers. So provides, notice how it does. Notice the style of writing. Provides, not what should do, but does. So this goes under, where is it here? Yeah, so this part here, document what the method does do, but not should do. So the difference is tiny, but it's important. So you write returns, right? Not return, right? Subtle, but important, right? So that's what I'm going to write. So returns, again, should I use capital? Well, not returns, sum of two numbers, two integers a and b, right? I mean, of course this is completely silly, but still, right? Still returns. So return, again, you mentioned integer, right? And of course you could write here again, if you have more complex method, you would write more. Maybe you would write explore, you would explain more what actually is happening, right? And then you say, okay, what return integer, right? Again, of course, it is already, since Scala is strongly typed, of course the types are not crucial to include a type, but it automatically will be picked up by this by this integer. I mean, the types will be automatically picked up, right? So let's see what else goes there, right? So get the point as quickly as possible, right? So write returns true, right? If some condition return true. So we could of course do something like this, right? Return biggest, right? Maximum. Well, we'll do one more, right? So max, right? My max, right? A int b, right? Of course, right? And I would do something, right? Int, you know, if a, right? A else b, right? Works, right? Simple method, right? And I will do something like this, right? Again, so returns the largest of two parameters, right? And again, skip is this again. If you could type something about return, right? Returns the largest, right? You could write return a. You know, you could write this also return. If you had more complex logic, you would say, okay, this returns true, and then if afterwards, right? Don't, you know, again, this is just a style guide, right? Again, of course, you don't want, you can't, it's almost impossible to be completely consistent in this method, but again, these are just good guidelines. Again, so what else, right? So consistent, right? Wiki style HTML, right? Full code listings, of course, and right. So again, so notice again, so we have methods, we already have stub, nice way of generating stubs, right? So methods should be documented, also objects, so we could call it again, they container object for holding day 32 examples, right? I mean, of course, again, it's pretty silly, right? And so returns, you know, nothing, you know, nothing demonstrates, mentions, you know, you talk about what's happening underneath. Okay, so you've done this, right? You use this 2-star, you have some documentation. So how do we actually, so what's the idea? So, okay, so this is good already here. Again, remember I can hide the documentation, right? And we can do this, let's run it. So tools, and let's see if we can find generate ScalaDoc, right? That's the basics, the magic button. Okay, we'll try it. Right, whole project. I could do the, well, I'll do the whole project, but this we don't have, this is a big, I mean, we have so many files here, right? And we don't have too many ScalaDocs. Okay, let's do that. Include test source. Okay, let's do it. And we'll open it also in our browser just to see what's happening. We can specify our title. We can also specify where are we going to output. We'll leave it blank. Let's see. It should go. Let's see. GitHub file. ScalaDoc scope. Right. You can also specify which one. You could do just one module. I'll do the whole project. Right. Output directory. Right. That's a good question. Where should we? Let's run it for now. Let's run it. I think the default will be. We'll find the default, and also open in browser. Okay, let's open it up. I want to see it. On verbose, no. So I guess we do need specified, right? Otherwise nothing's happening, right? So CSV, no. Resources. Let's see again. ScalaDoc suggested the folder directory. Yeah. What would be a good place? Right. So what they don't actually mention here, right? Unfortunately, where should you save ScalaDoc, right? Right. I can say anywhere. I can check where I did it last time. Let me see here. Cancel. I will open a new project. Cancel again. Right. So I believe open recent, new window. again, so notice again, so the syntax, I mean, it's nothing. There are many of these parameters, these you could say macros, right? They basically are will provide linkage to these variables, basically make it look nicer, basically, right? So wait, it's not opening. Where's my second one? Okay, there we are. Okay, let's see my I believe it's under resource or maybe somewhere else. Not here. Maybe in documentations, I believe, right? Yeah, I believe in docs. I believe in docs. That's a good. That's just a again reasonable place to put again because I don't think I have docs here, right? No, I don't. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so again, let's do it. You could choose another place, but I think this is fine. So it's gonna be in the main. It's gonna be new folder, right? Docs. Right, again, you can look for some other examples. There's some other ways of doing it, but I think docs is a good way of doing it. So generate ScalaDoc. Again, everything. Let's do output directory. Let's say docs, right? Let's see what happens. Okay, open in verbose. Again, if you specify a heap size, it might take a little bit go faster, perhaps, right? Additional parameters, but we'll stick with this basic one, right? So whole project test source, I don't think I have anything there, but let's see. Okay, so let's generate it. It should be pretty quick, right? Error. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's in a. Okay, let's see. Maybe no. Let's run it again. Looks like there is some problem running this tool. Oh yeah. Docs. Ah, yeah. Okay. So let's run it again. So apparently you do need to create a folder. Okay, sure. So again, it's not maybe not as smart as I would like. No, not there. I'll do it here. Not here. Here somewhere. Move refactor. Okay, now let's try it again. It's been a while. Docs. It should work now. Let's try it again. No. Something is wrong with the tool. Right, and we didn't have a right trait iterable. So looks like NIM has a problem. It has a problem with illegal cyclic inheritance involving trait iterable in array buffer. Let's see what's happening here. It's basically it doesn't like some specific thing. Okay, we'll go there, right? And moves array. What's going on here? We specified. Maybe I should probably put here, right? Okay, we can do that, right? That works. Right, it picked up. That's actually, it looks like a bad design, right? So let's do that one more time. Maybe it's somewhere else, some error somewhere else. Okay, there's something else. So again, it gives a chance to fix some things. It's interestingly enough, it still doesn't like it here. Very interesting. It doesn't like the buffer, but it's a blank buffer of array buffer. Maybe, okay, if I skip this, right? Okay, let's see, this way. It will happen like this. It's like maybe just a language issue here. I'm gonna save it again. Still doesn't like it. Still doesn't like it. So, legal cyclic inheritance into a trait iterable. Interesting. Moves array integer. It's not bad. It's not bad language, and also right current state. S current state. Let's see, integer. It does not pick up these values. That's very interesting. It doesn't pick up on these values. Let's see what's happening here. It might be take. Yeah, this looks like nobody has an answer. That's kind of bad, right? Yes, that looks like this is an issue here. It's a bug. Yeah, and JetBrains. Yeah, this is not fun. Yeah. Okay. Rebuild. We'll try rebuild it. We'll have to rebuild it, I guess. Let's try rebuilding it. Maybe there's something rebuild project. Rebuild project. Wait, oh no, it's building. It's compiling. So compilation, of course, takes precedence. Let's see if there's any. We might have to restart everything. Looks like there's no 6 warnings, but otherwise nothing too bad, right? Nothing too bad. Do we have any problems? No errors, right? Of course, we have 130 to-dos, right? But, of course, it's not. This looks like something that doesn't like the ScalaDoc. Again, our project's getting too big, maybe. Again, we didn't pick up. Maybe we should have done this earlier. Let's do this again. I'm sure you'll have an easier time. Let's try this again. Maybe we'll do scope. Okay, I'll do scope. Maybe just I can generate single file because I'll get lazy, right? I'll do just a single file. Selected files. Yes, okay. Looks like it worked fine. Didn't mention anything. Maybe let's do it one more time. But let's see, there's nothing in there. Okay, so open in browser, docs, include test sources, whole project, no. Selected files. Maybe I can do this. Source, main. Maybe I can do this. Selected. It's nothing. Maybe there's nothing selected. So if I do this, that's no like this. Let's try this again one more time. Selected file. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That looks like okay. Let's try this one more time. And it should open a browser somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. Is there? There should be a browser somewhere. If not, we'll go there. Let's check. Let's check out this huge command. ScalaDoc. Let's see. Does it mention anywhere the file? Yes, there's a bin. There's a bin. There's a file. But let's see, where is it actually? Idea. Let's see what we are doing actually here. ScalaDoc. Okay, that's ScalaDoc selected file. It says a temporary file, but looks like it worked. Well, let's see if it actually worked or not. Let's see if we can find it. Well, yeah, actually it worked. Okay, it worked. So let's get open in browser or browser Chrome, for example. And yes, root package. Okay, com, of course, GitHub, right? Val RCS. And we have a single object, right? And you have add, execution start, of course, which is main. Again, so what happened? Where did these come from, by the way, right? Because these are, because we did this, right? It came from app, right? This came from the extending app, right? But these are depreciated. So depreciated value, remember, so this documentation for these came from the extending app, right? So add, right, on max. In this case, they're so small that we don't really have anything, you don't have to have anything extra. But again, so very easy. Let's see if we can add more let's say utilities, right? We have our, not test, but just I would like to fix this name, but unfortunately it looks like there is something, it doesn't like something in our package. Maybe we'll try it again. Maybe something, I would like to generate information, generate documentation for everything, right? Because completely certainly compiles fine, but it doesn't like this fact here for some reason. Doesn't like this reference here. Actually, I could do val. I could fix this, right? Right, that might help. But maybe because it's a buffer, so we don't have to have a variable, right? We are just, it's mutable inside, not we don't have to change it, we can mutate. Okay, but that's probably still not something. There might be actually, well, sometimes there are bugs actually in the tools we use, so something maybe needs to be fixed there. But okay, so let's generate a ScalaDoc for utilities, right? We have time, right? We still have some time. Yes, and let's generate some utility documentation. We'll go source, target, I mean here, main, there's our utility, let's check. Right, and yes, we have some here already, I already tried. Represents, so we use true or false, true, return true if file exists, true if file exists at the location, right? False otherwise, right? False otherwise. Again, so I'm using this the guidelines here, right? So this class, yeah. Yeah, so of course in this case I mentioned that there's not much point saying what it does if we repeat right, if you describe what the method returns here, right, there's no point doing it here, right? So this should probably be returns, we can do this, returns, right, on there's no point of mentioning here, right? I mean, again, it's just common sense, right? Of course, you can overwrite, right? So let's see what else could we have some extra interesting examples here, right? You can have links to actually websites and things like that. So for classes, right, constructor, you can say what constructor does, what parameters are for the objects, right, for the person, right? So to methods, right? So document all methods. That's basically what I would like to see, basically. Let's go to Alvin. He has a class to represent a human being, so that's a class person. You can also say, okay, what's depreciated? Maybe there's a weight field going away. You can mention so you can do version, author, right, parameter, right? You can describe each parameter, of course. You can also add version if you want, right? To do, you can add. So all these things will be, when the documentation is generated, will appear, right? So you can play around with this again, with this example, add some more values. But again, the basic thing is, you can even add an example, right? So that's a nice way of saying it, a short snippet, so a short example of how to use it, right? So of course, for example, I could do this. So triple quotes, triple curly braces or triple mustache, right? So for example, if I go again to this day here, right? So let's see, example, right? At example, yeah, it realized, you see, example, right? And I'll use triple quote, yes. And so you know, while my max equals day 32, ScalaDoc, ScalaDoc max, 5, 6, 5, 7, for example, 7, 1, 10, something like that, right? So I mean, there's not much to I mean, it's again still example, but it will work, right? So let's see what happens. Of course, I could add also author, right? I could add if you are author, well, South parents, right? On a version, I could add version here. I thought it should be here, version, like we'll do, of course, 1.00, right? Something like that. So major version, minor version, this is a version, there's actually 4, there's usually you type, this is for small changes, for major changes which break on, which might break, this is for the big changes, right, semantic versioning, right? So if you want to talk about that, semantic versioning, right? This is right. Semantic versioning 2.0, right? Major, minor, and patch, right? So something breaks, minor is something functionality, but everything still keeps working. And patch is if it's just some fix, right? And there's also a fourth letter, right? So that's a basic idea. Is there a Latvian version here? I don't see it. Maybe Lithuanian? No, but again, I'm sure you get the idea, right? So semantic versioning of how to call this object. So let's add more on semantic versioning. Can we add how do we add links to websites here? There's also, I think there was an example here somewhere. Yeah, like this. C for semantic versioning, for example. C. And how do we do it? Double quotes, yeah. For on how semantic versioning works. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I'll generate just this single file. Here's ScalaDoc. Docs, just this file for now. You can do custom scope, right? You can do a couple multiple files, right? On module, of course, you can do a whole project, which I was trying to do. And let's do this. Maybe this source not doing, but okay. So let's see what happens now. Okay, it worked fine. So now where's my documentation? Where's my cool documentation? Let me refresh this, right? GitHub, right? All right. Yeah, version. You see, there's the version. Where's my author? I guess I didn't write correctly. Maybe I didn't write correctly because I was author. I thought I was correct, right? I guess not. Something author doesn't like something here. Maybe there's typo here somewhere. Okay, maybe it's only for the classes, but the objects should work everywhere. Okay, maybe you don't see it here, but so yes, you can go to an external site again. So it's just a way of writing documentation. Of course, you could add your own home site here or something, or company site, of course, if there's some extra thing. So there's some super sites. These are the ones we are inheriting, right? So again, we have our add, right, and max, right? So okay, so I hope this gives you a start on how to work it. And again, I assume I can try. We have a few more minutes. I'll see if I can run it again. See if I can fix this. Generate ScalaDoc. I would like to generate that doc for everything. I'll exclude the test source. Maybe that's whole project, or maybe just a module. Let's see. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, it's really puzzling. It's really puzzling. Okay, so it doesn't like days 26 name now. 5 warnings. Oh no, but zero code errors. So this looks like we can actually work. Now this will have more data. Yes, look at this. We have all of it. Look how nice it is, right? Of course, only problem is we don't have, most of these things don't have any documentation. But still, you have something, right? You only have, at least you see. So somebody, either you or your colleague or a friend or maybe somebody you gave this project after 6 months, they can already start using it. They don't have to go to the whole, open the whole project. They can see it from here. Okay, here's an album, right? There's a constructor, right? There's members, right, of this, right? And even though I didn't write any documentation for it, you can still use it, right? So some things will have documentation, perhaps, right? Value members. You see, at least there's members here, right? Again, you should probably document the classes, of course. Let's see utility. I think utility has some documentation, right? Utility function to find delta from starting and top time. Get a list of files, and this is probably where we should probably put the links, so it won't work. I don't think here it will work. No, it doesn't work correctly, but again, there you see it shows you the for longer for those longer documentation strings, right? We see a longer list. So let's check here where it's in here. So utility. I think it is this one here. Yeah, this one here, right? So yeah, we would see C. So this should be written like this, and right. on like this. Yeah, so that would work. Yeah, so again, so that would be a nice way of documenting this. Well, again, I can run it again. I wonder again if I would like to fix this. This is silly. With 57. Okay, it's warning this, right? This throws again, right? So it should not really do it. So it's saying what? Okay, use case. Only ads. All right, I'll do it. So I need to say throwable. I guess. That's the thing. Okay, so it's even more strict. Looks like documentation generator is more strict than my compiler, right? So it's even more strict. So slight. Let's try now. Come on, let's do it. I don't want any more red. Will this fix again? So I didn't mention again. Of course, this is okay. So it mentions some things, but 4 warnings. But we could check what's some things which will change. Maybe again some things. Meaning this. So what's depreciation? These are things which might at some point might stop working, right? But they work now at the moment, right? So it's a warning for the future, right? So again, so I fixed this little thing here because again, in general, you want to catch specific exceptions, and you don't want to catch everything usually. Okay, so let me go and see about our right delta. Let's see utility. All right, where is this? Get character count. Where's my regex, which I fixed? Where is it? I already forget now. This was get list of files. Yeah, see, there's a link to actual external site if somebody wants to see this more extensive examples and so on. Okay, so so you saw how simple it is to add documentation. Also, how this documentation which you generate actually you will get documentation something for free even if you write nothing, right? You just generate it and it works. Again, the thing is, it looks like it's much more pickier than actually your code. It might complain about some things which work fine as a program, right? So it kind of gives you some extra warnings again. So that's of course it's a little bit annoying because hey, program works and the compiler is not complaining. But so you could say it's maybe a little buggy, but there's nothing major to be fixed. I mean, this is things. The thing I fixed right here, it should have been fixed anyways, right? So it was actually a good reminder to fix some code issues. Again, so we write like this, write what does, right? Finds, you could say maybe finds delta, maybe it'd be better, like finds delta from starting and stop time, right? 1 delta in milliseconds. Okay, so T0, T1, yeah, this is a good place to name the parameters, because what's T0, what's T1? Of course, it's kind of impossible to say what the heck it is, right? You can kind of infer it's a starting time, but you are not sure. So this is a good place to add some documentation. All right, so you should do in your project, you should do documentation or for all the methods and also for your classes and objects as well. All right, thank you, and we will continue in a live session.